Let's talk about the significance of this scene. Spoilers if you aren't up to date with the Severance. The previous episode, Milchick receives his performance review. It's this contention which is clearly a racist microaggression that seems to really get to Milchick. A poor baby is quite literally shaking thinking about it. Before I talk about how this can be perceived as a racial microaggression, I need to point out how high quality this performance review is and what that does to your psyche to receive a critique about your character that is bound and laminated to this level. You could find this book in Strand. To really understand how this is a racial microaggression, you have to understand how Black people are perceived in the workspace. It's no secret that the corporate world is owned by white men. Although we're starting to see diversity in corporate spaces, it is not without a cause. Black people enter the workforce, everything about them is instantly monitored. Discrimination against natural hair just became legal in one state like 3 years ago. But the biggest thing that is policed in the corporate space is most definitely speech. To excel in a corporate workspace, Black people are compelled to do something called code switching. We are compelled to adjust the verbiage that we're comfortable with to make our white counterparts comfortable. But the double-edged sword of that is that we also cannot intimidate our white counterparts. And that's not just with our size, but that also goes with our intelligence, particularly when we're interacting with our superiors. While the way that we speak at home may be deemed as unprofessional, if our speech exceeds the level of intelligence that our superiors assigned us when they met us, you're perceived as being condescending, rude, mean. So to make this not just a contention, but the number one, the first contention that they needed to point out is a microaggression. Obel was cursing out the innies. The point of contention for him is using big words. He's a manager. So in another heartbreaking scene delivered by Milchick, he as an audience have to watch Milchick adjust himself so that he can make his co-workers comfortable. Please take a look. The directing in the scene is so incredible because first we see Milchick look in the mirror like he's giving himself a pep talk. While he's reflecting on something he told his inferior earlier this day, he internalizes this critique on the way that he speaks. He looks down for a second and he hides a part of himself in his reflection because he now knows he can't be his true self. Then as he reemerges, he's able to apply the critiques against the way that he's comfortably speaking. And you can just see the life gone from his eyes as he adjusts the way that he speaks so that all of his non-Black counterparts could feel comfortable. For the phrase to be grow up is also incredibly impactful because to grow in this company, he has to shrink himself.